welcome back to the farm and welcome to week 2 of seeding winter wheat. Doing something kind of fun today, doing a variable rate prescription. You can see it dropped from 80 pounds an end down to 50, and then here pretty soon when I get in some of this really rocky poor ground that never grows anything, it's going to shut off the nitrogen completely. So we're trying to put the fertilizer where it's needed and not where it's not needed. There you can see it turns off. Just kind of doing that on this rocky knob that I'm going through right now. Instead of putting the same rate across the whole field, we're actually going to put a little bit more fertilizer on the good grounds. So hopefully increase the yield there. And they say sometimes you can even increase your yield a little bit on this poor ground by cutting the seeding rate, which I'm also doing across this ground, because you don't just put all the energy into vegetative growth. Well, the little plants there has a little bit of moisture left to actually put some seed on. You can see now the fertilizer, the anhydrous is coming back on. As we get into a little bit better dirt here, you can see the rocks have mostly disappeared. And it'll even jump up a little bit more as we get into better ground yet. The other thing that's varying is our starter rate, which is the product 1 at the top there. Putting on 110 pounds in this zone because it's a pretty good zone. Product 2 is our seed. We're going with 90, that's kind of our average rate. And those rates are going up and down a bit as we go across the field too. They're not ever going to 0 like our anhydrous though. They're kind of varying between 75 and 115 depending on the zone. You need to have some kind of stand out there still. Another thing that I watch, can't see it in the sun very well. You can see on this split screen map, this blue area is the prescription. The darker blue is the really good soil that'll get a heavier rate of N. The lighter the blue, the less nitrogen it'll get. So you can see that area straight ahead, kind of towards the end of this pass, is the area I did the little video in before where it turns off the nitrogen for a little while. The green area is what I've already done. Working my way across the field. Product to watch for a map. There's our starter fertilizer. Pretty similar map for the starter. Halfway done with this 200-acre field. A few other things on this screen that are kind of interesting to see. There you have our fan speed around between 43 and 4,500 RPM. That's how much air it's blowing through. I have to run it on the higher side if I'm on hills to make sure it blows product to the uphill side, because you're working against gravity. Up here you can see how many inches of air pressure we have in the tank. Since this is an air drill and it relies on air to blow the seed and starter fertilizer to each opener, you got to have your tank sealed. If you don't get your lid sealed, then you'll have 0 pounds pressure there and it won't move the product. You can see how fast the rolls are moving. They're changing as we're going across the field. We just left where we're doing anhydrous and now going through the rocky zone. Lots of dust tonight. Also says, depending on the rate you're going, how many acres you have left of that product. So right now I'm on a starter. So if I was running 80 pounds across the whole field, I'd have 24 acres left. But as I get into a better zone, that'll probably drop. Just pulled in and parked at the anhydrous bottle. I come in really close to, because I have a short hose to fill with. Makes it easier to put away at the end, and I have to come in kind of at an angle so that I can come in with the tender truck a little bit easier. So, because that conveyor belt sticks out and you don't want to hit the cab of the tractor. Then I need to go get my readings, mainly on the anhydrous, the start and the stop reading, and then how much I use, and then I can figure out how many pounds per acre I put on, keeping track of the acres with each load. For the dry, fert, and the seed, I just get a reading at the beginning and end of each field. So I gotta come around and see, I got 20% left on that one. About 47, 45, somewhere in there on that one. This one I'm down a little below 20. I figure it up, see how much I got left. Then I'll hook my liquid and my vapor hoses up, start filling. This is my handy chart that gives me my pounds of N equivalents based on the percent that my different gauges show. I have two 500-gallon tanks, so got to do 2 of those and then one of the 750 tanks that's back there on the cart. Got the pump running, pumping product in. Liquid is orange, vapor is yellow. We got the tender truck over here, putting product in. It's a 2-hopper tender truck. Well, it's 1 hopper, but it's split in half, I guess. Fert in the front and seed in the back. Another field almost done. Just crossed the 200-acre mark there. Only have 1 more pass left as we're going across the field. See if you can see there, the rates changed on the dry starter and the seed. And of course the end rate's been changing as well. See, there's our nitrogen application map. The gray areas are where we didn't put any on, which are the rocky patches. And there's where we're at right now, just making our last passes. Back at it again today. Not doing any variable rate on this field, just getting my 70 pounds of N and my typical rates at 95 pounds of starter and 90 pounds of seed on. Got the door open because my air conditioner went bad. Hopefully I stick some gauges on it when I go in to fill this time and get her going again, so I'm not so hot. Oh, down to 500 pounds, so be heading in soon. Getting some refrigerant put in. Makes it a little hard to get past the tanks, but can do it. Well, finished that field. Had to go until the daylight was, I'd say 99% gone. But got her done, so just checking my gauges. See how much I got left, how much I got on. Feels good to finish a field at the end of the day though. Then I can get these things moved to the next field early in the morning. I think we're gonna call it a night after this pass. Gets a little disorienting in the dark sometimes, and the dust, of course, especially when you're making corners or going around obstacles. So week 2 is a wrap. Please remember to like and subscribe.